page Ayin Vav.
Yeah.
We got the Os Yud Tes.
Right.
Ve'im Kana Chametz B'Pesach Min Hagoy B'Kesef. You acquired chametz from a goy by using kesef, and it's machlokas. There is a kinyan kesef. So he says lahasovim krushem b'lakish. If you hold like Rishon and Lakish, it's machlokas Rabbi Hochman Rishon and Lakish. You came b'goy kona b'kesef. So there is a kinyan. That's how you are kona from a goy with kesef. Ayin b'hazav v'b'choros. So afilu lo nasan rak pachas mipruta kona. So when you're using kesef and you hold there's a kinyan kesef by a goy, he says you don't need a shava pruta. After the Yisrael im kesef kona, even if the dinner would be kesef is kona by a Jew, or let's say the case of karka where kesef is kona by a Jew, so a pruta. So by a Jew to be called kesef it needs pruta. The pachas miseh lav kesefu. Ayin chosh mishra of Yerdea. B'kol makam b'goy have a kesef afilu pachas mishava pruta. Which is a very hard thing to understand. Ayin Erevin Tzaf Samach Bes and Aleph. And what's this proof to this? The Sochrin Migoy Afilu Pachos Mishaver Pruta. And the reason we see this because we know the Ben Noach was Nerag al Pachos Mishaver Pruta by Gezel, the Enkan Mekamo. Yeah, but the only reason that's not such a strong rag because we say a Jew isn't Nerag because of Mechila. Right? But he's saying even nothing to do with Mechila, it's by Kinyan Kesef. A guy has a Kinyan Pachas Prut, and he's quoting with Ferish Gemara and Erevin. V'yivur b'mekamo b'yesh alakim. So it says Ayin Lahalan. V'guf din Kinyan. Okay, so I saw today. I looked this up because I was a little bit surprised. And I looked and I forgot to bring it. And I wasn't going to go back for it. It's too freezing. I showed you that Minchas Chinuch with the notes on the bottom. He says that there are people that say that even though it's true that there's a Gemara in Erevin that says you could be kona from a goy with less than a shova pruta, but the Gemara over there is talking about being kona rishus for Erevin. And they said that's only, when sometimes you have to be kona the rishus by Erev. So he says the more says that's only. So some people say that skiras for Erev and they were mekel and don't bring a raya to regular kim kesef the rice of the pachal shavar prove the house. But he's bringing a raya. But he had on the bottom over there in the Vishuli Mincha a whole bunch of akronim. One of them was the Mesha Davar. I don't remember the rest. But they all say that you can't bring that. That's not true. Kesef is a pruta. And you can't use less than a kesef when you buy from a goy. Either more in Erevin. They said that was skiris of a makom Erevin, and by Erevin they were mekel, and they said you could buy it even less than a shava pruta. It's not a real kinyan over there. Erevin works differently. That's what they say.
But on the other side, that the reason that is on Geneva that a yid is because of mechila. I thought we said last week that's the proof machlokas whether kesef is a pruta or not.
That's what he's learning. Yeah, but you don't have to learn that way by Geneva. You could say everybody agrees Geneva is less than a shava pruta, and except the Jew is mochel, so you don't have to return it.
But why would Geneva be less than? In other words, if it's not kesef, why can it be Geneva?
Who says you need to have kesef to be over Geneva? And the Gemara only says Jews are mochel, so they're if stam is like kesef is less than a shava pruta, so it's not so smart that it should be totally that you're just learning mechila makes something kesef or
no. That's the problem. Mechila should be after the fact on Michael, but it doesn't take away from the Geneva.
So there are people that hold it. There are people that say that by a Jew fakir that you're not allowed to take it. It's only that if you take it, you don't have to do a shava because we say Jews are mochel.
But it's an interesting idea with kesef. I guess what it comes down to is what is if kesef is if it's not kesef less than a sheva pruta, then obviously it can be kind of less than a sheva pruta. So it has to have some mushers even if it's not kesef. I guess what's hitting me is kesef seems to be like a mercantile amount, like it's an economic amount. So less than sheva pruta means it doesn't have economic value. I mean, and that's so. But it can't mean that if you hold that if you theoretically hold it can be Gneva less than Shevet Pruta, even though it's not called Kesef, then Gneva does not tie it to an economic entity.
Right.
Interesting.
But this word that it's Kesef by a Jew and it's not Kesef, like he's learning, the Mitzvah's going to learn, because it's Kesef by a Goy. You could be Kona from a Goy with less than Shevet Pruta, and it's considered Kenyan Kesef. And not by a Jew, so that for a Jew it's not considered Kesef, and for a Goy it is considered Kesef. That's not so precious to understand. It's also, how does that work? So you're learning, the fact that Jews are mobile, so it's not a chashuv amount for a Jew. Goyim care about it, so it is a chashuv amount. Could be.
I mean, it's not the fact that he's Michael after the fact. The fact that we assume they're going to be Michael, it doesn't give any chashivas to it.
Yeah. And anyway, but that's what I saw. So he's learning l'chor. It's a din in kesef, and l'maisa, he's learning, but that it's a shaila of kesef. By Ben Noach, it's kesef less than Shevet Pruta. And I just told you there was a list of achronim over there. I just remembered and see, but if a number of achronim that argued and said that that's not what they learn in Erevin means. It's also telling how you learn by Kedusha. The Gemara says she's not making herself unless in a Shabbat. The Gemara doesn't say stam, it's not kesef.
Right, it's not kesef.
The Gemara says a lashon over there, she's not making herself unless in a Shabbat.
And in comparison to the Beis Shammai, also, the way, long time ago from learning the Gemara, the way the Gemara compares Machlokas, Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel, it doesn't seem to be like Beis Hillel says this is Kesef, and Beis Shammai is just saying no, they want more money. But it seems to be something a little bit more mamashis in that.
I don't remember how to learn the Gemara, but I just remember that lashon. The Gemara says she's not Michael less than Shevet Pruta, so it's not much, but it's totally in the same Kesef, or unless that's Kupa Levor, just like we say that since. Okay.
I'm just wondering about this with this thing about Noach is that would this be one of those things that would be totally in the society, in the sense that like it seems to come across Ben Noach is different than a Yid or whatever, but if Bnei Noach are no longer concerned about Shevet Pruta, would the same
concept change?
Would the concept change?
Even by Gezel would it change me too?
Right.
Now he says, "V'guf din kinyan chametz Pesach." There was a different problem. He says, "Is there an Indian of the Amrin and Kol Milsa Lamar Rachmana Lo Saved Yavid Lo Mahani?" So they should, if you're going to chametz, it shouldn't help because you're not allowed to be going to chametz, and we should say on that Yavid Lo Mahani. Ayin Chosh Mishrat San Reish Ches Sif Aleph Yerdei San Reish Lamer Sif Aleph the Sefer Ksuba. That's the law. He says, "Where Ushar Rachmani Pashuv Shat." But you have to see all these shittas. But Pashuv Shat, such a thing. The avera isn't the avera. The avera is not to be kona chametz. Whereas usually the Yavel Amani, the Torah says not to do something. So can that, if you're over what the Torah says not to do, can that have results or not? It's a Yavel Mahani or Yavel Amani. But Pashuv Shat, the avera is not to be kona chametz. The avera is having chametz. Just that when you kona chametz, it ends up you're having chametz. So you end up like a Rama calls it a Alav Sheyesh Bo Maisa, but it's not because the Isser is the Kinyan, the Isser is the being koned, the Isser is having it. So Pashuv Shat on such a thing, you don't say you have a low.
But essentially, you said that issue by the Rambam, by saying this the issue, why is he called Alav Sheyesh Bo Maisa? Because it's not the Isser, it's not in the Kinyan, but if Rambam does call it Yesh Bo Maisa, then according to the Rambam would be there would be the same avera, that the act of being koned.
Even according to Rambam, the way they don't learn the Rambam that way. They learn the Rambam means if the having it is automatic with the Kenyan, so that's called Yesh Bo Maisa. You do the avera through Maisa, but not that the avera is the. So
you can say that with this issue of Yivavid L'Mahani or the same thing.
I don't think so, because there's a svara. What the Torah said is usher. You can't as low, but I don't know. You have to see what he says. By every Kenyan Isra, you have to see what he's referring to. You have to see his rayas. Okay, Veloka. So it says that for the Mechaber said, the Chinach said that you over 11 and Chametz B'Shusam. Ezed over al Shnei Lavim Misham Ba'Yirah Ba'Yimatzei Veloka. You get Malchus. So he says, Kain Higam Kain Das Ramam Kan Perak Aleph Halacha Gimel. The asa maisa, if you did by Yirah with the maisa, you get malchus. The ayin mishnah malach shama v'achronim amaylo havi nitzik liyasei. So there's a problem that there are some Rishonim based on a certain Gemara that chametz is called a lava nitzik liyasei because there's always an essay of tashbisu. So why is it? Why do you get malchus? What's those words? Umashikas echto v'kamen, I guess.
Is that Mishnah? Is Mishnah against the
Sifei?
Sifei?
No, because it says ba'os habor. So os habor. These are the new ones, but the os habor, it's os daled. But the one we're in now is os daled, I think.
Right.
So where's os?
Os hayes will be by Chaf Aleph.
Os hayes by Chaf Aleph. So there he speaks about lava. So he means the Mash Echto Lakamen, and I guess he calls it Sika. It must be Osei, right? I don't know. But we'll get there. We'll wait till we get there. Okay. I'll call upon him. For some reason, their question is, why isn't it a lava nitzik essay? And there's different ways. I guess over there he's going to speak about different ways why it's not. But he says, I'll call upon him. Whatever hesber you give, why it's not a lava nitzik essay. But they'll dike them low havi nitzik essay because they say you do get malchus. It's not so pasha because I remember there's one shita that says that it's a bal yirah. There's two lava and bal yirah by a matzeh. And ain't anami is a lava nitzik essay, but the essay can only not take one. Maybe he's going to bring that, or maybe we had that. There was a story that an essay is not monatic two lavan, but it's monatic one, and they end up getting malchus for the other one.
Right.
So the back to Rambam says you get malchus because he only says you get malchus once. So they say maybe he does hold. That's I don't know. One of the Achronim said that, but that's not the pashas of the Rambam. But I'm just telling you that what he says so pashas that according to the Rambam it's not a lavanitic essay. It's not l'kuliyam.
But Bayurah by Matzah only counts once in the minyan of mitzvahs, right?
What?
Bayurah by Matzah.
Nope, they count it twice, and that's a big problem. He's going to go into that.
That's it twice?
Once the Rambam, you're over two lavin.
Because over here it's the Shalom Matzah Chametz in the Bereshus is the mitzvah we're looking at right now.
Here he says clearly, in the Chinuch, he says, over Lavan and Chametz B'Shus Amazed over Al Shnei Lavan Mishum B'Yirah.
Oh, okay, right.
And that's the Rambam Shita. There's a question why he counts it.
Right.
Yeah.
In the minyan mitzvahs also. Right.
Yeah, that's a question why he counts it twice, but the Maisa he counts it twice.
Yeah.
He's going to go into it, I think, later. I'll call upon him Ladaitam, he says, so he's saying that according to the Rambam, you get malchus, so slav lo havi nitzik liyasei. Most people learn that way, and there's different reasons. And I'm sure he's going to probably give some reasons also. But I'm just telling you, there is one sheet that not like that. He just shows that it is a lava nitzik liyasei, except the essay it can only fix up one lava, not the other one. So you end up getting malchus on one of them. The afilu das atosus psachim dafchav tesam beizir masker avashli the havi nitzik liyasei tosus isn't nitzik liyasei. So therefore you don't get malchus. But low kima essay, o bittul essay, because that's telling there's a machlokas in the Gemara by every lavanitically essay. If they tell you to do the essay and you don't, some people hold at that point you do get malchus. It's only when you might do the essay. But if you're or bittul essay, or if you do something, one manner says that it's down for bittul, you don't get malchus yet. But if you do something which makes it impossible for you to do the essay, right? Then you will get malchus for the low sasa. Even if it is a lavanitic essay, says according to Tosas, even if it is a lavanitic essay, but in the case of lo kima essay, according to that mandamber, kima o bittul essay, if you mevatale, I'm bachronim v'shar mal v'tam melech sham, ech mishkachas bittul. How would you have a case of bittul essay? So much. Let's say the essay is only streifa. So if you destroyed it another way without streifa, it would be bittul. Essay. And even if you say tashbisus b'chol davar, it's possible to get rid of the chametz without and making it impossible to destroy it. And you're not if you hold the essay as destroying it b'chol davar, but let's say you do something where you can't destroy it anymore, but you didn't destroy it, so you're so there are definitely cases of making it that you'll never be able to do the essay. lokin alavayla, then you would get malchus. Or even, let's say, you keep it over Pesach. So then you're about to last because you can't do the essay. After the essay tashbisa is only on Pesach. There are shitas, it's only on Rishon, like the pasuk is literally. But generally we say that if you hold it's 11 at the class, obviously it's a whole Pesach. But if you keep it over the whole Pesach, you are mevato the essay. You can't do the essay anymore after Pesach. So that would be like bittul essay. So then you would get malchus. Venera, now he says, how many malchus do you get?
Well, the argument. What's the argument you can't do the essay after Pesach because there's no Shem Isser anymore? I mean, why
there's no tashbisa the whole year round. Even it says after Yom Rishon, so even the ones who learn it means from the beginning of Pesach to the end of Pesach, right. No one learns there's a mitzvah tashbisa in the Torah. It doesn't say tashbisa after Pesach.
But as
there's no kiyum mitzvah tashbisa during the year. You can eat the chametz. There's no any tashbisa.
What I'm wondering about is once you're already over the love, tashbisu is tied to destroying it.
As when there's an Isser chametz, but it's not to do tashbisu after. I never heard of anyone saying this.
No, I'm trying to understand because once it's already become a chefzer shel Isser, because it's been kept on Pesach, right? So now it's a.
We hold like Rav Shimon, Chametz Shavar Pesach is mamish mutter min Torah, right?
Right.
It doesn't remain a chefzer shel.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't remain a chefzer shel Isser. That's so. But the point is that it's interesting. If the love shenitik to say, you have this love, and then the way to fix it is by burning it. But now you have a time horizon that you can only burn it until the end of Pesach. So the point is a different type of love, it's a different type of essay of tashbisa. Tashbisa before Pesach is a mitzvah by itself to destroy it, because Pesach's come. But now if you're over the Avera, you're doing this essay in order to fix the Avera. So that's why I'm trying to say that still, but the point is still it's working within this time limit of Pesach. You can't fix it, you can't fix the Avera after Pesach. I guess I'm wondering why we didn't fix the Avera.
Let's say it's not called chametz anymore. Let's say something noser. Everybody agrees the noser is a lavanitic essay.
Right.
But if you would keep the noser long enough that it would get rotten and destroyed and lose its shame noser, I don't think there would be a mitzvah srevis noser anymore. It's not noser. It's like so the way I understand it, this is not. The whole mitzvah is burning chametz and Pesach, and this is no longer after Pesach. It's not like chametz anymore. It's not, certainly, if you like Rav Shimon, it's mutter, you could eat it.
Right.
But even if you like Rav Yehuda, that it's usher because you kept it on Pesach, but it's not the same. It's not kares. It's not the same.
You're saying, but because the shame chametz that you're talking about has a shame isser. It's not just it's not because it's still chametz. It's still chametz, but it's still a shame.
That's how I understand it.
So it's interesting. We say with noser is if noser.
I mean, meat spoils, whatever.
Right.
I'm just saying, let's say...
meat spoils, so it's not edible. Because nicer is something that should have been eaten, that's not eaten. Okay, so what happens if it spoils and can't be eaten?
And there's no more there of eating noser. It's like you're not allowed to eat noser, but it's not edible, it's not roy.
Right,
the Torah doesn't have a shame noser. You think there's a mitzvah of burning it? I don't think so.
It's an interesting question. Because because you're saying the inherent in the concept of noser is its ability to be eaten. So if it's not able to be eaten, it loses shame noser.
I think so.
You're right, because if it's something that's not edible, then there'll be no issur of eating it.
Right. That's for sure. There won't be an issur of eating noser.
Right.
If it's not edible. It's not
right.
good.
Right. That's interesting aspect.
I remember the rise. I remember in my mashgiach, where David Kernglasses that sells Sefer, he has a whole tshuva on that there's a difference in the mitzvah of burning noser and the mitzvah of burning chametz. I think, I may be sure I might be getting it mixed up, but I have to check. But I think what he says he has rayas that there's a question as to how far, to what extent do you have to burn it? And he ends up saying with, I don't remember the rise, this I'm not even sure what he ends up saying, but this is what I think he says, is that when by the mitzvah of burning noser, you have to just make it burn it as much as it'll be inedible, right? To burn it to the point where it's no longer edible, and you are having the mitzvah of sreikus noser. And I think he says by burning chametz, it's not true. If you would burn it, that's till it's not royal achilas adam. It's not enough. You have to burn it till it's not royal achilas kelev for the mitzvah of streifa. So I'm just trying to think when you brought this up. Thinking there, you see that there is a mitzvah noser, even though it learns Torah once it's not royal achilas adam. There's no more isser of achila, and still the burning has to go farther than that. So that would be no gaya.
But by chametz, but now you have an argument where chametz theoretically may be burned afterwards, because if you destroy this, it goes beyond that.
Yeah, so I'm trying to show you, but I don't think anyone says that tashpisu continues after. There's an Indian tashpisu after Pesach. Even Rabbi Yehuda that holds it's how much Rabbi Haslach was answer. This is the right side. I don't think anyone holds it as a mitzvah.
But I think most people who discuss tashpisu, it's not just it's not talked about in the context of just being the essay of the essay. Right. It's
also tashpisu that you shouldn't have chametz and be over anymore. That's true.
Right. This is a specific category of the essay in terms of fixing the love, and that's why I raise the issue of why, as fixing the love, that it's. I mean,
the way I understand is the love is no longer here.
Right.
The chepsa visser is no longer here after.
Okay. So if you can do it, you have to do it while it's a chepsa visser.
Well, now he talks about the part of the shali. He says, so even according to Tosas, it's a lava nitikli essay, but even a lava nitikli essay, there are times or bitl, that you get malchus on a lava nitikli essay. So therefore he says venera. So how many times do you get malchus? He says venera the lokin shmoni. So he says svara should be that you get malchus 2 times malchus because you're bringing over to lavin. Over imashnei lavin, right? I am igmar sham hayam the bain bebatim bain begvulin. Even though one pasuk says batim, one says gvulin, but you learn out from one from the other, and it says in both cases overim al shnei lavin. The ayin shagasari heir bazeh. In this shiloh, you get malchus 40 or 80. He says the shagasari is meir bazeh, but efshir the lokin shmoni. Maybe you do get malchus shmoni. The ayin Rambam perek aleph mitmura. V'tos is kulun daf beis v'naf different manskul v'sovik v'sarbayim u'marshoah. Then come to come. I know the general idea, and I learned this once, so I'm trying to remember. But over there, by Tmura, it says there's a lo yomer lo yaklifenu. There's 2 lavin. So the Mishnah says you look arboim. So over there, Tosas says, why are you loka arboim? Why aren't you loka shmonim? So one teretz Tosas says it's because the word calls Tmur lav and the essay, and the essay is only monetic 1 lav, so that's why you loka arboim, right? And not shmonim, because it's only essay can only be monetic 1. Like similar to what I told you, so I'm not going to say the same thing by Bayirah and Bayimatzi. But over there, there's a machokas rishonim. I don't remember the names, but I think one of the shittas is that, or the Rambam shita, the Ramban shita is that when you have 2 lavin in the same thing, you never get the double malchus. You just say the Torah said the second lav to make it more, to show you the chomer, but not to give an extra. It's machokas Rambam and Ramban and this far. I forget which one it is which, I should remember. So over there, the Rambam holds that if you have malchus twice, if you have 2 lavin, he says you only get malchus once. Generally, he says, and we say the second lav is only coming to be to show you that the Torah is machmer with it, but it's not an extra malchus. And over there, But if the two lavin cover different areas, different things, then you get malchus.
Right.
Then it's like two shemos.
Right.
But if it's not, so over there, I think the Brisk Rav says that he's by Bayiro, by Yamutze, it's not so clear to him. He says you only get malchus once, and it's not clear to him because in the languages of the Sefer HaMitzvos, it's mashma that Bayiro is different. Bayamutze means don't have it, whether you see it or not, or whether it's seeable or not. And Bayamutze is telling him not, you don't have to see it to be over, but it has to be seeable. That's how the language is, I think, and so therefore he says, according to the Rambam, if that's true, which is masha from the language of the Rambam, it should be like two different lavin, and then you should get malchus twice, because it's like two different shemas. And I think he belongs with a Sarah Ian. But they learned that, but the Maisi holds there's only malchus once. So he's saying that could be there is malchus twice, and that's what the Tosas is speaking about. About Lo Yammer also, and there's a machlokas in Tosas. So one place Tosas says the reason you don't get twice is because of it's a lav and it's the yes, and yes is not one lav and not the other one. And the other teretz of Tosas says that Lamaisa, I don't remember which one he says, but he says, let me just look. At the very beginning of the thing, I just don't remember. He goes like the Rambam and the Ramban that was repeating to get 8.
So it's right in the beginning of 4?
What?
Tosas right in the beginning of 4?
Yeah, because the Mishnah brings in, the Gemara brings in Hakol Mirin or something.
Right.
So over there.
Tosas in the 4 I usually learned. I've learned a few times. I don't remember.
Well, it wasn't Nogei Chulin, but it says over there when it brings the Mishnah, it says, the Mishnah says Hakol Mirin Echel Nashim Echel Nashim Nashim, and it says over there in that Mishnah, Sovek Nashim Heimir Mumar V'Sovek is Harboyim. So it's mashma you get only by Lo Yakif and Lo Yamir. It's mashma you only get 40, right? Tosa says Im Tomar, why Sovek Arboim? It should say Sovek Shmonim. But Trey Lavik see Lo Yakif and Lo Yamir, right? So Tosa says Yeshlomar. So Pasha Shai. So in Tosa Kasha you see that if it's 2 lavin on something, you get Shmonim, which is the Ramban Shita. What's Tosa's answer? The reason you don't get shmonim is the chad v'shalo, v'chad v'shal chaverik v'tzmura. Right? The Gemara makes 2 different ukimtas, so therefore you don't get 80 because one case is talking v'shalo and one case is talking v'shal chavero. So pashup shatosas means you're never over 2 lavin.
Right.
There's v'shalo is when it's yours, and v'shal chaver means the other guy said kol harotz l'hamer yamur. Right. So, what it would come out if you learn that's teretz. So it would come out. But if you have 2 lavin on the same case, that you do get shmonim, which is the Ramban's shita. But some people learn the second teretz tosus doesn't mean you're only over 1 lav on shalo and 1 on a different lav on shalchaver. What the Gemara means that you need psukim. You need both to teach you different aspects. And whenever you need, but Lamaisa, at the end, when you do Shalom or Shalchaver, you're over 2 lavin. But the point is that even though Tos holds if the lav is repeated, you get 80. But it's not called that the lav is repeating. The lav is coming to tell you a new issue that there's a lav b'shalom and the lav is b'shalchaver. But at the end, both cases you get you're over lavin. Both lavin, but in such a case, because that's what the Ramban says. The Ramban says if the Torah repeats it and there's no reason the Torah is repeating it, we say it's repeating it for lavin, and you get 80. But if there's a reason the Torah repeats it to teach us something, then we say you only get 40, and the Torah repeated it not to give you extra amount, because the Torah repeated it to teach you idea.
Right.
So what Tosfos means over here, that he held like the Ramban, and he says that you should get 80. It's repeated, and then he says one is b'shalo and one is b'shal kavera. Not balabatish that each case is only one lav b'shalo and there's another lav b'shal kavera, because it could mean that, but it could be he means is this is not called repeating the lav. The Torah says it twice to teach you another aspect, but it could be in both cases you're over both, but you're not going to get 80 even according to the Ramban.
Right.
Okay, but one place Tosfos says that the essay, that's what he says on Chulin. But one place he says, I don't know if he says that the essay can be monatic 2 lavin, but it could be monatic 1, so you'll get malchus. So that's where you get malchus. You get malchus 40.
Yeah.
But there also you'll see that if it wasn't for that, if the lav is repeated, you get malchus 80. But the Rambam Shita is that and I think one place also says that when it says Shmonim is Lavdak, it means 80. Maybe that's what he says in Torah. So I remember that. Let me just see how he says it in Torah.
I just want to see if he said anything about this by where you are.
Who?
I just want to see if he said anything about this.
See, here Tosfos says, in the beginning of Torah, Tosfos says, why does Moshe say Aborim? Why don't you get Shmonim?
Right.
So he says, Yeshlomer de lo nachas laminyan malchus. Moshe just tells you Lokin. It didn't mean Lokin Aborim, but Einachanam you're Loka Shmonim.
Right.
So you see Tosfos is going clearly that if it repeats, you're Loka Shmonim. Then he says, Od Yeshlomer de lo Loki el Arboim, utrei lavi tzrichi. Chad b'korban shalo, v'chad b'shel chavera. So this language, Sheilav Yitzrichi, doesn't seem to be saying that Balabata Shad, one case is and one is on the other case, so you're never over 2 lav. He means the svar, like I told you, that since you need the pasuk for it to tell you these 2 cases, so Mela, it's not called an extra lav to get another malchus, because you need the extra lav to teach you this the din, which is both places. Then Tosfos is going like the Ramban, that when it's repeated, if it's not repeated, you get 80. But if it's repeated for a reason, then you get 40. But the Rambam Shita is that when it's repeated, you don't get 80. If it's repeated for no reason whatsoever, it's repeated to show you the chomer, but not to give you more malchus. But if it's 2 types of gedorim, then even according to the Rambam, you'll get 80. And that's what the Brisk Rav says in the language of the Sefer Mitzvahs. It's mashma that Bal Yirah and Bal Yematze are 2 different.
They don't totally overlap.
Right, but there's a different concept also. One is you shouldn't have it, lo yematze, it shouldn't be found on your property, and one is lo yirasa, it shouldn't be able to be seen. But maybe here we're talking about shlo yematze. How does the peanut usually follows the lesson of the Rambam? Where does he say?
It's chaf. Lo yirah is chaf.
So let me see how he says by yirah.
It's confused.
No, he hasn't explained. He just says one is by sore and one is by lo yirah. You have one by sore and one by chametz, but that's the same inyan. Right, but he doesn't make a difference. And that's maybe for next week I'll show you the language of the. See the Minchas Chinuch in the very beginning of Chaf. He said V'ayin Kesem Mishnah. V'ayin Kesem Mishnah Perek Al Nechamas Amatzal Lacha Gimel Daito B'das HaRambam the Betamon, if it's hidden right? It's under the kark or something like that. Ain't over alav zeh. You're not over by Yirah. Eladavka kashanir leinayim. Whereas the Bal Yamatzi you are over. Right? He was the Kesamish over there is Mechalach the Bal Yamatzi and Bal Yirah. It has to be seeable. You don't have to see it. So of aim near leinayim, then over Shnei Lav and Bal Yirah Bal Yamatzi. Uvataman ain't over Balazev the Bal Yirah Rak Mishum Bal Yamatzi. And the Kesamish bases it on the language of the Ram. I think it's the language of Sarah Mitzvah. Maybe it's in the Yad. I don't remember. But that's so. That's what the. So that's
the last paragraph of that thing.
Yeah.
It says in here, she says, "In Nemor b'Halav, Eno Lasa Imkim B'Nira Loken Shronim, the Tamam Loken Rak Arbaim." So he says that. He says according to the Kesef Mishnah.
Because by Taman you're only over by Yirah, you'll get our boim, right? Because you're not over. You're not over by Yirah. You're only over by Yamatze. Right. And when you could see it, you're over both, and you're going to get 80.
Right.
But that's good, okay, even though because it's not a repeat, because it's two different.
Right, but Brisker must be colored with this.
Yeah, that's why the way I remember it, that he says the smash when you only get our bohem, he doesn't know why. He buys with a sarachin.
Yeah.
So
but the fact is that unless he's holding the not like the Kesef, but he said, but the Mitzvah says specifically that
he's going according to the Kesef Mishnah that he'll get 80 because he holds it's two to allow. It's not a repeat.
So it's most connected the Brisker route. It seems to be.
I think there's a Rambam that the Brisker brings that says you get 40, and that's why he says it should be you should get 80. And he ends up but it says you get 40. You have to see the Rambam.
Okay, so in other words, in a case where it's not hidden, you get 40, but the Mitzvah is saying
so the Ferrer should get 80, which is what the Brisker held Mitzvah says you should get 80, but he understood that according to the Rambam you only get 40.
It'll be interesting to see what the.
I have to see the Brisker Rebbe says. Just get back to maybe for next week. I'll look it up. I remember. Okay.
By the way, you say look at this. I tried to find that smug, from Tuesday night. That thing about Meiser Shani. The thing is that the price only has it on Losa, says this is his message.
I didn't do any research for Tuesday, but I was hoping to do it tomorrow. Okay, so now I lost the place. What page are we on over here?
I involved here.
Okay.
Yeah, at the bottom.
Okay. So he's not. He says, "Ain't come to go into the Malchus and the Labin." Inei va'asa ma'isa loken. If you do by your raw through a ma'isa, like you make chametz or you buy chametz, you get Malchus. After that's Rav Mechaber lekamen dechol lav she'efshel lav or b'li ma'isa afi ma'asa ma'isa ein loken. Or generally, the Chinuch has a shita wherever you could be over the lav without a ma'isa. Even when you do it with a mice, you don't get malchus. So now the problem is, so how could the Chinuch say over here by Yirah, you could be over without a mice, yet when you do a mice, you do get malchus. It's the Torah connected his klal. Right? Chilik b'shar HaMelech now. The dafka ba'asa ma'isa v'yachal lavor v'lasos ha'davar b'li ma'isa ein loken. And he says this is the Rambam that the Chinuch says that even when you do a ma'isa you don't get malchus. That's only when in the case where you did the ma'isa you could have been over without the ma'isa. But by chametz you couldn't have been over. You didn't have chametz, and you had to do the ma'isa to get the chametz. Either buy it or make it. So in that particular case there was no way to be over without a ma'isa. So he says whenever the Chinuch says even when you did a ma'isa, that means in that particular situation you could have been over without a ma'isa. But even though you did a ma'isa, you won't get malchus. But lochein b'chametz im ein lo, if you don't have chametz, so asiyas chametz or akniya to make the chametz or to acquire the chametz, efshar below ma'isa. In that particular circumstance, it wasn't possible to be over without a ma'isa. So there, the Sharmal says the Chinuch agrees have leilav sheish ma'isa that when you do a ma'isa, you get malchus. V'hu v'chiber zeh kama pami. That's where the case of Bayra by Yamatze is different according to the Chinuch. And other people hold just the opposite of the Chinuch. Some people say the Svara is fakir, that if you could do even if you don't do a Maisa, but if you could be over with a Maisa, you get Malchus even without a Maisa. It's called the Lav Sheyesh Bo Maisa, and they ask the Kasha in reverse. So what's what Bal Yero and Bal Yematzeh? So I think there they say that when the Maisa is the Iker Lav, if you could be over the Iker Lav with the Maisa, then we say even we do without a Maisa you get Malchus, because it's called the Lav Sheyesh Bo Maisa. But here the Maisa is not the Iker Lav. It's a chiddush, because here the kinyan in the making the chametz isn't the Iker Lav, so there it's not, it's hard enough to hear why you get Malchus when you do a Maisa, but to say that that's the Iker Lav is the Maisa, you can't say. But that's what the Atmani say.
Interesting idea. I mean, when you first read it, I mean, the fact is what he's really saying is whether it's a prat or a klal, it's like the specific avera. Like the specific actions. If you could have done this or come to, like in this thing, without a Maisa, then it's
the Maisa is like irrelevant.
The Maisa, but it's very specific to the. I'd like to think of a case like this. Because usually you think in terms of
look up all the cases of the Sharmel. Because he's the one that said we have to look up the cases, but I don't remember it. Okay, Shechimetz. Ein gan came around kan per kalava gimel. L'chora im kana beli ma'isa. Let's say it's one of the cases which is obviously for ma'isa, but you made a kinyan. So now im kana beli ma'isa. Let's say how could you be kona without a ma'isa? Kagon shahaya munach b'chatzero b'kvar chametz shalach. You had someone else's comments in your chatzar. V'hiknu when the owner of the chametz said, "I'm makna you my chametz." Or he gave you a matana the chametz, so you could be kona without doing any action because your chutzner is kona, right? Im kain havi le aimbo maisa. So you have a case of kona without a maisa.
It challenges Sharmel's answer because he's saying what he said before. You had no chametz, and then how did you get chametz without Messiah's maisa? In this case. It's a way you can actually get.
Yeah, but there he's saying, there the Shamar was trying to say, since you got it through a Maisa, even the Chinuch will say you'll get Malchus on the Maisa. But here you didn't get it through a Maisa.
But that's because there was no other way of getting it.
But it's not a Maisa, but you didn't do a Maisa. Maisa, you can't say you're going to get Malchus because you did a Maisa. You didn't do a Maisa.
No, no. This I understand in this case. Not to get Malchus, but the fact is that it's possible for a person, like the way he says it over here. Lo came bechem imein lo.
Yeah, well, there is a case. Yeah, but that's a case where it happened to be in your chutzner. But the other cases that you didn't have it in your chutzner, you could have put it in your chutzner.
Yeah, I mean it's.
Oef shalomer, but now he says, and this would answer your problem too. If you say this, I don't hear this. Achash shalomer kamod darin b'tmur dafkin days. Maimer the B'dibura Isav Maisa, because the Gemara says a principle every lav she'im Maisa you don't get Malchus.
Yeah.
Chutz in one of the except for three cases, one of them is Tamura, and then the Gemara says don't count Tamura because the Tamura, even though you just said a Dibur, but it's B'dibura Kaved Maisa because the Hektish is Chal on both of them, right? So he says, so you see that the fact that something is Chal is called a Maisa. In Cain, Mali Dinasa Hektish, just like that's what's the mice over there, it became Hektish. Right? So he says, Mali Dinasa Hektish, the Natek Rishus Kavoa, where he says, but it could be so Netek Rishus also Savale Maisa. It went from his ownership to your ownership with your chutzner, maybe that's called a Maisa. In Cain, Kalechi, the Kane, Kib Dinasa Shalo, Havale Maisa. So I saw in that sefer I looked at today, he said that people argue on this, and they say could be changing from Rishus Hedja to Rishus Hektish is called Maisa. But if it remains in Rishus Hedja, it's just a question who's the owner from one guy's ownership to another ownership. Maybe that's not called with the B'dibur Kaved Maisa. And I had a different time that even if you say it's with the B'dibur Kaved Maisa, the Rambam doesn't pass with the B'dibur Kaved Maisa. The Rambam says by Tamura you get Malchus. And even though it's a lav shein bo maisa, and they ask a question, why doesn't he pass him with the b'dibur kaved Maisa, which Rabbi Hochman said, but there's the answers to that. But the Maisa doesn't pass in the whole story of the Dibur Kavod Maisa. So I don't know why the Minchas Chinuch is saying this is the Dibur Kavod Maisa. The Ram doesn't even hold of the Dibur Kavod Maisa.
Right. But I think the other thing is very true. Hektish is very. I mean, Hektish has a totally different
concept. It's a
different. Yeah. I mean, the fact is that this person knows it, that person knows it, but it's still.
It's Rosh Hashanah. But one is Hektish is a different kedusha. It's a whole Indian of a whole different concept of ownership of Hektish.
Right.
So that's how they argue with. But he says Mali.
Right.
You can call it, but it's okay. I ain't round in Perak Aleph me Surim Mizbech Halach Beis, but Sarathin Perak Aleph me Tmur. Maybe that's he's referring to my thing. We hold the Dibur Kavod Maisa. The Gemara says such a story though Mali, but Gemara says by Tavach Machar. You're chayav dalad b'hei, and then where it says if you're by machar you're chayav dalad b'hei, by hektish you're also chayav dalad b'hei, because then where it says mali machar hedjut, mali machar hektish, there is kind of
similarity.
Yes, similarity, but the Maisa, I think the Achronim have a good time.
It's 9:29.
Okay.